and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm taking a little bit of a palate cleanser from the heavy content that I've been putting out. At least it's emotionally heavy for me. So I thought it was time for another update from the front of this retracted conflict between Chille DeCastro and our favorite YouTube content creators. This holds so much significance, this battle, that it can almost be compared to the Great Pastry War of 1838, with pretty much the same outcome. So we're going to take a peek in on what some creators of note have been up to since we last visited their channel. So let's get to it. So before we begin, let's recap. The lofty goals of the watchdog groups or gatekeeper communities, and as an aside, it's the only community that gets really touchy when you call them that. They collaborate on content together. They visit each other's live streams and Discord servers. They communicate behind the scenes with each other. They highlight the same videos. And in the case of pernicious people like Chille, they all focus their content, rally their powerful subscriber bases, and encourage them to become either passive or aggressive activists and to troll and or flame the targeted person. And they do it all together. Most of all of their subscriber numbers and channel views soar, as do their super chats, whenever they come together for these purposes. It's cha-ching. Then, you know, if they need to raise money from the very subscribers that they ask to go to war when things get out of hand, you know, for legal fees when their targets fight back, they've got open sourcing there as well. And it's not difficult to generate interest. Most people are good. And if more people would get out of the limited internet world, they would begin to see people for who they really are. Most people are good. And they like the bad guy to be produced. And they like to do what they can to help stop the evil from flourishing. They can offer time, money, intellect to assist taking down the foe. The viewer caveat is simple. They want concrete results. They want the content creator to be successful in actually defeating the bad guy. And therein lies our current dilemma. But anyway, it's quite a profitable venture, to be sure. Just don't call them a community. Caucus? Fellowship? Faction? I don't know. Those are just some possible options. Anywho, there came a foe so obnoxious that the watchdog community unlocked their moral gate. It wasn't difficult. The gate was rusty anyway, and it had one of those doorknobs where you could just stick a credit card in there and jiggle it around, and the door would just pop open, you know, when you lost your key. And they decided to let the frauditors enter the hallowed halls. In fact, they were people on the same side as the bad guy. In this case, Chille. Frauditors and our plucky watchdogs who had created content about them in the past, highlighting their grifting, low-down dirty antics. They were now uneasy allies. What could go wrong?
Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go over to Sovereign Soul's YouTube. He's a funny guy. I know a lot of people don't like the whole flat earth stuff, whatever. He's a lovely, lovely guy. We had a great time together. Oh, there he is. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
That's quite a ringing endorsement of Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, Mr. Irish. Have you watched any of his content? Let's take a look at what you just subjected your unsuspecting viewers to.
See who all we got in here tonight. We got Articudo, Austin Murphy, Dreamy Lynn Escaped the Chains, Ironson Auditor, of course, Kelly Fitzpatrick, Larry Holloway, Lord KJW, Nope Wasn't Me, Roseanne Massman. How are we doing? Archangel for Truth. It's good to see everybody tonight. I just kind of wanted to go on about a lot of people aren't going to like this idea, but I've said it before and I truly mean it. a vast majority of you are in a spell. And there are amongst us those various stages of shaking off that spell. Some of us are full on out, or at least it seems that way, while others, we look at the behavior of those that are still so deep into this that it's almost comical. It's almost comical to see the level of I don't know, for lack of a better term, Stockholm syndrome that goes along with this shit. I just watched a video where these Lamborghinis got pulled over. And this cop's trying to say that they were doing 95 and a 70 in some kind of a windy road area or whatever. But anyways, you could fully tell that the cop was completely lying. And the guy pretty much busted him out that he was lying, the driver. But they got the ticket anyways. And then the guy gets on and says, oh, yeah, he acted all professional. And, you know, he was real cordial. And I'm thinking, yeah, he was real nice. He smiled at you while he fucking lied to you and then robbed you on the roadside. That's really cool. You know, just shit that people, the art of black magic, which is making you believe your senses are completely wrong. And we're seeing that like with this attempt with the FBI. They've been caught full-fledged with the shit that they've been doing, the Twitter files, all this crap. And what's their response? No, that's not true. We weren't doing that.
I guess you'd say, like, on my side, although I'm open to all sorts of possibilities, but let's say the traditional view are basing their predictions on how they would predict that drop to form on thousands of years of science. And then you have to take a look at what science is. You have to look at the history of science. You have to look at the scientific method. It wasn't just some guy in a YouTube chat coming up with a theory. It's thousands of years of development and advancement and making arguments. The arguments fall apart. Then we go out and reinvestigate. And then we think we've got everything down pat. And then, whoops, we have an anomaly. And now we have to go explain that anomaly. And that's happened many, many times through history where we had to modify.
Has there been an experiment done that demonstrates someone making a ball of water? Do we have any of that? No, we don't. Still to this day, I don't care what you put on mathematics. You can put down mathematical formulas to show that an elephant can hang from a daisy by its tail. And so what? It's not going to happen. The reality of it is, until you have a demonstrable, repeatable experiment that can show this, that can actually demonstrate this, all you still have is just speculation. And when it comes down to that speculation and the experimentation, the results always end up showing that the water remains level. Always.
Well, they have done that from my point of view, because they've gone up in space in low gravity, and water does form spherical shapes and floats. Okay, but you're not going to accept.
But every other shape in between too. They tend to like to stop the camera when it happens to be in almost a sphere shape, but in reality, it's going around into all different shapes. It's dependent upon other forces that are acting upon it, movement, whatever the case may be. If indeed they'd actually been into space, those experiments that I've seen done are actually done in free fall. Nobody's ever really been to space. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. None of it does. But anyways, I mean, we're headed off a fucking roller coaster with a dead end stop. And it's getting exponentially close to the point. I'm going to tell you straight up, the last 2 years was actually an IQ test. And unfortunately, many failed. I'm dismayed by that. But also on a second level, I'm kind of like, well, maybe it's for the best. Maybe it's for the best. I don't know. I'm torn on it. I'm absolutely torn on it. Yeah. So anyway, those are just the few things. We live in idiocracy. We absolutely do. We absolutely do. People are exponentially more. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it. I think it's more and more disconnection. It's more and more disconnection, and on a level that you're probably not even aware of. Oh god, here we go about the fucking Netherlands again. So, anyway, that's just a couple of the thoughts. It's people say, well, for instance, one of the things I pointed out to this stupid kid was it, you're gonna come on with these fucking ridiculous shit. You have no concept of the fucking Socratic method of debate or discussion, for that matter. You constantly override everyone when there's trying to be a discussion. You talk over everybody, and then distance and atmospheric opacity. See, you got to also understand that sunlight and daylight are not the same thing. Those are two different things, although they're connected.
Wait, what?
Yeah, sunlight and daylight are two different things completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do a hard disagree there, but what were you saying?
Well, you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to do that. But the thing is, the claim of the heliocentric model is that we have a sun that is 836,000 miles in diameter at a distance of 93 million miles. Now, how does anybody fucking know that?
We can measure it.
How?
Oh,
and don't tell me parallax, because there ain't that's a fucking bullshit word. They were determining this. They determined this fucking distance long ago, and it has changed. And you're one of the top guys, your scientist Newton, said whether it be one distance or the other, it doesn't matter. It suits our purpose. It was a very scientific thing to say.
You told me to bring up stuff that I personally did, or at least that was my assumption.
Well, no, I did not tell you that at all.
Which is why I said at least that was my assumption. And so I was very careful to not bring up Newton, Einstein.
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying, how would anybody know this?
Because
you would have to know the size in order to calculate the distance.
No,
you would have to know the distance in order to calculate the size.
No,
you would have to have something of a known size and distance that you can compare it to.
Here's the thing. You are saying that parallax is bullshit. You said that. Well, unfortunately, parallax is how we were able to confirm the distance to the International Space Station and measure its altitude and speed. But also on top of that, we were able to do two different methods. Astronomy Live did not use the moon. I used the moon. We then compared our results to what was the quote unquote accepted value, and all three of us.
Well, wait a second. Did you have any known values in your calculation?
Known values, yeah.
You had known values. Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to apply that known values aspect, which are required. Those known values are required because you cannot tell the size nor the distance of an object without knowing one of the numbers. You have to either know the size or you have to know the distance. Or you have to have something of known size and distance to compare it to.
You mean like the positions of the stars?
Well, how do you know how far away a star is?
We don't need to know how far away a star is. We only need to know
the position of the stars. You just said by the position of the stars.
Yeah, position and distance are different things.
Well, what we're trying to get to is how would you measure the distance and size of an object without any frame of reference to get those measurements from?
We know positions of stars as they appear in the sky. This is how astrometry works.
I understand that.
Okay, if you
you still have to know that's still not going to tell you a size or distance.
Or it wasn't zoomed in at all. I'm going to make that right now. Let's see.
As I've said, I've been on here 2 hours.
Hey guys, Rob Skiba here. So
of course, Rob Skiba. I know exactly what video you're referring to.
Oh no, that was just something that came up on another list. It was, I tapped my phone. I was in another search and that came up. I like Rob Skiba. I like Rob Skiba.
Skiba's in your list, oh dear God.
Yeah, you would say that because he's a threat to this fantasy that you all have of an Earth ball
he was
flying through a fucking void and all that other shit.
I've challenged him to a debate multiple times, and that dude fucked off faster than the speed of sound. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I could imagine. You're very condescending. I would too, but I'm able to deal with people. I'm able to deal with people like that because you've still failed to explain how plotting the positions of lights in the sky is going to tell you the size and distance of any fucking thing.
No, you just failed to understand it. That's not my problem.
Won't. No.
We can't stoop down to their level.
Absolutely. We have a platform that we can wish on them.
Belisha Beacon, you asshole. Let me ask you, who did I fucking slander? I haven't slandered anybody. And if I call you an asshole, I'm not slandering you. That's the truth, based on your shallow-minded fucking comment. Thanks for coming, though.
Up a new location in another area, are you going to try and find it?
Yeah, you would.
I wouldn't, because they didn't put a sign saying, "Hey guys, we're stopping content here."
I thought you meant.
So N14A, you don't think that brings some awareness to people and say, "Hey, yeah, wow, you don't need a permit to film in public. You can't trespass the eyes. That's cool. Oh, I can't be trespassed from public property. That's pretty cool too." You don't think that those things, people are seeing it? Of course they are. Can you be that dumb?
And you would learn from it.
Come on, man.
Okay, I wouldn't go to look out for their other location, because they've clearly stated to me that they don't want my business.
Yeah.
Belisha, I've never said that a person is a demon. A demon cannot be a person. A person can be inhabited by demons. Absolutely. A person can engage in demonic activity. Absolutely. And when people engage in demonic activities, you can call them a demon.
There's nothing
Where's the
that is
receipts,
true.
kid? Where's the receipts?
You have no foundation in reality.
Where are the receipts for your video? You made a shitload of fucking fraudulent claims without a single fucking shred of evidence.
You're looking for fucking clout. As per usual, you had to ride Chille's coattails. Now you got to ride mine. I get it.
I'm not riding yours. I'd call anybody out that pulls this shit. I got a couple more on the
You weren't man enough to call me out personally. You had to go and do this shit and pretend like you know something.
Natural law is your natural rights. Okay, so do you guys know what your natural rights are? Everybody knows life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But pursuit of happiness is a very vague generality, isn't it? So have you guys ever looked into the philosophies that the founders founded this country on regarding natural law? Do you guys have an idea of what natural laws are?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What
absolutely. Are talking to a disciple of Mark Passio.
Oh yes.
There's so much to unpack here. I honestly could make an entire video about this guy, but I don't think I need that kind of negativity in my life right now. He calls everything that contradicts his beliefs speculation. He claims that the world is flat, that no one's been to space, it's all simulated. Moonwalks, simulated. Space station doesn't exist. There have been people in the small examples here, and there are larger ones. I'm going to post the link to his channel. You can check it out for yourself. People who have tried to educate him. He refuses. He rejects science in favor of YouTube videos by definitely, not scientists. He's one of those flat earthers whose belief is in relationship to popular conspiracy theories and other anti-science activities. Everything out of his mouth is parroting, sometimes word for word, conspiracies other people have just made up. He practices confession by projection at an alarming rate. And he's got opinions about everything, but knowledge about very little. True knowledge about very little. He harshly criticizes science for not having proof, as if he doesn't know what proof, what evidence really means. But for his beliefs and the crazy things he espouses, the irony is that there are no litmus tests available for most or anything he believes, because they're not necessary to him. His test for taking on a belief is as follows. Does it support my bias? If the answer is yes, then welcome aboard. You heard him when I called him out for accusing people he doesn't like of being demons. He says, I don't call people demons. People aren't demons. Demonic spirits can possess people, and when they do, there's nothing wrong with calling them demons. So, which is it? You can't make that make sense. He uses terms from New Age spirituality and applies them to government conspiracies, which is antithetical to their actual purpose. The purpose of spirituality is to achieve personal transformation and healing through self-awareness, getting in touch with self, learning how to heal trauma on deeper levels, learning how to love yourself and to create better relationships in your life, to move past the blockages that you've created. In the bigger picture, New Age spirituality is supposed to usher in a time of light and love. People like Sovereign Soul have bastardized it and turned it into something dark and dirty. And it's corrupted them and turned them into paranoid conspiracy theorists. To him, the world is an evil place. That is an illusion, and it doesn't serve him. It doesn't make his life better. It's made him fragile, angry, and easily triggered by people who disagree with him. And he suffers from one of the most severe cases of Dunning-Kruger that I've ever seen. I commented on a few of his live streams and one of his community posts that I'm highlighting here. He shared a conspiracy about Cabbage Patch Kids and the first known movie to have been created by a woman, from a video where the conspiracy theorist admits that he made it up. I provided the actual facts surrounding everything he was alleging, and guess what? Crickets. He attaches himself to a belief. He allows it to become a part of who he is, no matter how unreasonable or nutty or manipulative. And he protects that belief at all costs, because if he has to give up a belief that he created, to him it's having to give up a part of himself. And that's pretty extreme and fanatical. He takes on information, not facts, from a place of fear, and nothing, not logic, reason, common sense, even intuition, can dislodge his willful misunderstandings. He's pretty much saying, I refuse to evolve, I refuse to learn from people who know more than I do, I refuse to educate myself beyond what I already believe, and I will not entertain information that contradicts my beliefs. His ego really knows no bounds. So, Irish Demon, thank you so much for recommending this guy to me. I would never have found him if not for you. Thanks a lot, buddy.
I would like to see the receipts. Isn't it nice to have the receipts? Didn't you say that if you can produce the receipts that you'd look at it objectively?
Yeah, I've never seen a receipt.
Okay, so then I guess I'll just wait for you to start producing some receipts, and then if you can produce some receipts, and I made a mistake, then guess what? I will be man enough to admit my mistake.
Oh, so if I produce, sorry about that. So if I produce a receipt where you got convicted of domestic violence against a woman,
Convicted.
will you admit that yes, you do beat women?
I will admit that I had a conviction, silly wabbit, but I would like to see the objective proof because there's all kinds of people that make up
there's no
me.
objective proof about nothing. Either you hit a woman or you didn't. The court document says you hit a friggin' woman.
Well, I've never punched a woman in my life, so if you can produce objective
So
proof,
why did you get convicted?
You do understand that people get convicted of crimes when they didn't actually commit the crimes. You do realize that, right?
This is where I'm going to sit here and say, Broken, you and drama, as much as you think you're good with it, I don't think you're good with it. And I don't think you know what you're doing.
Amen.
This whole thing with Kate, if I were you, I would drop this because this is going to take you down a rabbit hole you don't want to go.
Well, we do have a silly
and I say that to you as a friend. Well, I'm not worried about silly rabbits right now. My concern is with Broken and having Broken understand that his best avenue, his best work is what he does on the street. When he goes out and records cops, when he goes and he tries to keep the system accountable for their public servants, their public officials.
So anyway, let's see. What's on the schedule? What's on the docket for today's stream, right? What's on the docket? We're going to do a quick recap. I was arrested recently because I do cop watching and because, cops don't really like some of the things that you have to say to them. So you end up arrested from time to time. So I'll give you just a quick brief rundown on what happened. For those of you who've been on this channel, you kind of know what happened, but I'll play this for anybody that might be watching this for the first time. And then we'll get into what happened after I got arrested.
Scared little girl right there.
From Michigan back. We will be defunding you shortly. We will be defunding you shortly.
That's state-sanctioned extortion right there. State-sanctioned extortion.
We will defund you shortly. We will defund you shortly. We will defund you shortly.
Thank you. These guys run this unlawful stop all the time. He's a lying piece of shit. He's a lying piece of shit. So guess what? Did he give you a warning? He gave you a ticket?
So there you go. After about 5 or 6 of those stops where they're just simply generating revenue for the state, down in Taylor, Michigan is where that cop watch took place. There's other cop watches that are in the members only section. I also released one of the cop watches publicly with the edited versions.
So, requesting proof from someone that you beat up a woman after you just admitted to beating up a woman is a really weird flex. And then moving the goalpost by demurring that you never punched a woman makes you look like a goon. Then saying that some people get convicted of things they didn't do, people who aren't you because you just admitted that you beat up a woman. That's money well spent there, Kate. Good job. BSBT, he was in my last video, so I won't go into the whole story here. He is a hot mess. Suffice it to say that this is the guy that Kate bailed out of jail with the intention of beating Chille to the punch, because he was also trying to raise money to get this peach out of jail. And it cost her some pretty substantial backlash from her subs. She did lose viewers over this. And this guy came out of jail attacking her, and he hasn't stopped. He was arrested again soon after that for the same kind of behavior you just witnessed in his interaction with the police. Another guy in their community, AC, gave him some pretty good, if misguided, advice. Stay away from the K-drama and get on with your business. He responded by going on Masshole's last live stream and doing this.
What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Am I in the show? I'm in the show.
You are in the
John
show.
Golf?
No,
what's going on? So,
John Golf.
Are we talking about Jeremiah? Because I'm kind of late to the screen. Okay, so do you realize that Team Skeptic told the story when Schrodinger's cat died? And Team Skeptic told a story that he was once homeless and needed help at one time, and Schrodinger's helped get him into a hotel room when he was homeless.
Okay.
Do you realize that?
No, but what's it have to do with pimping your daughter out?
Because the guy's asking for help. He's asking for help, you sick fox.
So
This was in response to a video linked to Masshole by another content creator named Huckleberry, and it's about a frauditor named Jeremiah Payne who posted a video of his 5-year-old daughter twerking to a sexually suggestive song on a TikTok video in which he said the next day was her birthday, and he was asking for donations of $1, $5, and $10, and then he posted his Cash App. It's kind of like very stripperish. It was very, very bizarre. And his defense was when people started, calling him out on it, and actually calling the Department of Children and Family Services, is that the 5-year-old produced the video. She uploaded it to TikTok, and she found his Cash App without his knowledge. But she produced that whole video. He's used her to e-beg for money in the past, as on many occasions. And he's even taken her on audits with him. Many YouTubers have tried to help this guy to no avail because he doesn't want to work. He wants people to give him money. He wants to grift on YouTube, and his daughter is the one that suffers. This is the guy, Broken System, Broken Trust, spent the rest of that live stream defending as he attacked Masshole, yelling that they were treating Jeremiah badly because he's asking for help. He was, in fact, and indeed, not asking for help. He was begging for money like he always does. And that story Josh told about Team Skeptic was not true. But it didn't stop him from repeating it even after he was corrected. Team Skeptic was in the chat. So was I. And he said that he lost power in his home due to a storm, and Schrodinger's cat offered to get him and his 20-year-old son a hotel room, a kind offer the team turned down, but he shared at the time of Schrodinger's death as a tribute to his kindness in life. But it didn't fit Josh's narrative, BSBT. It didn't fit his narrative. So he just dismissed it, and he kept going with the story that was stuck in his head, that it was a double standard. Another watchdog who covers Broken System, Broken Trust, named Kfar, got a visit to his house.
When an auditor decided to visit my home and harass me and stalk me, the whole shebang.
Just the camera, bro. It is nice, isn't it? So, anyways, bro, like, I don't know what you're doing, but it's just not smart, man.
Watch the grass, Sam.
It's just not smart.
Watch the grass.
Are you gonna involve me into that? How are you involving me into that?
If you want. You gave him a ride.
You involved yourself. Who the fuck do you think you are? Hey, you don't even know me, dude. You don't even know me.
I don't care.
He doesn't know anybody.
And I know where you live. I don't give a fuck about your neighbor. I don't give a fuck about the police. And I sure don't give a fuck about the prosecutor. Now what? Now what?
That's fine.
Right. Hey, record that because you're threatening me.
Yeah?
You talk to me. You tell me that I'm somebody's boyfriend. You call me out. You say that your boyfriend gave you a ride. You want to put me involved in it. I wasn't saying shit to you.
Well, instead of coming out here like a man and being like, "Hey, I'll say this face to face."
Yeah, so that was Josh, BSBT, and a friend of his who went to threaten and accuse Kafar of stalking him when he went to Kafar's home over words on YouTube. They are a bit unhinged, no? So what has our intrepid Kate been up to since she isn't covering Chille anymore? It looks like she continues her free fall into a crash and burn as she continues to alienate her subscribers. Yep, more Kate masshole drama has ensued. She recently, and I'm going to use this word loosely, moderated a debate between our resident smug crosspatch Merb and another YouTuber named Mark, who has a channel called Frauditors Exposed. I guess he used to be a frauditor and he's kind of jumped ship over to the other side, now exposing them. This was a debate about a case that he got. I don't think he won it, but I think that some of his arguments, his pro se arguments, did win over the judge on some motions. I'm not really going to comment on his life choices or his content. Let's just take a sneak peek at a tiny bit of this video and then we'll discuss.
That and so guess what? And guess what? My sister and we won that case. And I can't tell you about the outcome, but guess what? You remember we were talking about that overturned.
Any of this? Oh, Jesus Christ, Barb.
He's a child. He's fine. He's fine, Kate. He's immature. He's all right. He's all right.
I wasn't going that far. I was just trying to, it'll make sense at the end. Yeah.
He thinks it's funny that I help people win cases. I don't know how that's funny.
No, I just want to get back to again, this, and I hate
Stout v. Hill, chump, in your face. Stout v. Hill, in your face.
Yeah. So, you really did make a very definitive statement that there was no clear need for a forum analysis because of this case, Cornelius. Okay.
No, I didn't say that there isn't a need.
But that's legitimately what he asked you.
No, it's not what I said. It's already been decided. He's saying that does a court now do other courts now have to decide whether restrictions on filming are reasonable or not? No, because now they can cite the Sheets case and say Sheets already decided that issue for us. They've already determined the reasonableness. So the other courts after them don't now. Because the Sheets has already determined that restrictions on filming are reasonable. So the other courts after Sheets now do not have to go visit that issue. They're going to say we don't, and that's what they'll tell you. They'll say we don't have to visit this because Sheets. It's already been determined. You can't go and get a court to try to visit the issue of whether filming is restrictions on filming are reasonable, because they're going to say it's not up to us to decide. Sheets already decided it. That's the point of precedent. Well, it's not precedent, it's persuasive, but that's the point of case law. That's why judges cite case law, so they don't have to decide the issue for themselves.
So when you say persuasive, what does that mean?
Ask Merb that. He's a lawyer. He probably.
I would like to ask you.
It's something that's not binding. All right. If you don't know what that is, then I'm sorry.
So if it's not binding, then, and again, I'm sorry, I'm a layman, and I'll ask you both.
No, you're a frauditor supporter, is what I'm starting to realize.
Am I?
Go ahead.
I'm going to have to say that reverting to invoking some form of tribalism on my panel is not the way to win an argument that I didn't even think we were having.
No, I know. I just feel like you're trying to find a reason.
You are reaching very hard to say that because I am asking questions to which you apparently do not have the answer to, that therefore I am supporting or not supporting anything. I have lent my support to nothing. I have asked you a question.
I'm sorry.
Under the assumption that you have Kate. Some sort of basis of knowledge, because that is what you have asserted. I have taken you at face value, the same as I have with Merb, and I have asked you a question, and you continue to defer to him, and then make accusations at me that are completely irrelevant. That is not how
I apologize for the. I apologize.
And I've never argued in a courtroom.
I apologize for the accusation.
That is a weak ass argument.
Okay, first of all, for Kate, the lady who championed and encouraged tribalism for herself when it suited her campaign against Chille, and it crowdfunded well over $50,000 in donations for her fight in court to pay an attorney. For her to be accusing another person of doing the same thing is not very self-reflective. The optics are no bueno. This debate in the first place was supposed to be between Mark and Merb, who sat there snickering like a numpty, while Kate started using the debate to go after Mark. It just didn't go over well with her viewers. She then went on a bit of a PR campaign to justify the way she treated Mark. But her viewers, they're smart cookies, and they didn't buy it. They're not buying it. She kept saying that she didn't know about the terms he was using and complaining that Mark kept asking Merb to chime in when the debate was supposed to be between Merb and Mark, not Mark and Kate. And Kate doesn't even seem to grasp that many people represent themselves in court every day who have never been to law school or have the benefit, as she did, of being able to afford a lawyer. And they win. Believe it? They win. She was very condescending. It was just not a good look. At all.
He's just doing it against someone that you don't like instead. It's still the same fucking thing. Like, if it's unacceptable when it's done to Schrodinger's cat, then it's unacceptable if it's done to anybody. It's ridiculous. Like, he's putting this man's address on his YouTube channel. If Chille DeCastro, I'll use Blue Bacon because he just got a protective order, which I also think is kind of dumb, but people are really, he's sort of the poster child for victimization by Chille DeCastro right now is Blue Bacon. Imagine if Chille DeCastro started making live streams and tagging the location of the live stream as Blue Bacon's home address every single time. You people would be losing your fucking shit. You would be disgusted, and probably rightfully so. You don't need to do those things, right? But it's fine if it's done to someone you don't like, right? That's crazy. It's nuts.
It's back asswards.
This is great. I love it. I just want to sit here and read the comments.
Yeah.
Your ill-begotten watch.
My ill-begotten.
I got
This
that.
isn't agreeing, disagreeing. LA is a phony and he bullies women. It was so his fucking style, though. Like, Jesus Christ. Say Chille DeCastro of the anti-auditing world. That is what Mark Stout is. He is a bumbling idiot who purports himself to have some sort of legal expertise that he clearly does not have. He absolutely conflates, his little understanding of the law with these complex cases that, he cherry picks from. The guy's a fucking clown. He has in the past solicited people with his shitty legal advice for fees, including approaching the brother of a recently deceased auditor to try to compel him as next of kin to continue a lawsuit, in the deceased auditor's permanent absence. Like, that's a fucking problem. And right now, he's suing Long Island Audits. He is suing Long Island Audits for what I am estimating, from my layman's understanding of it, to be a total of $48 million.
Oh, what?
Because it was like millions each count.
I'll pull the case up and I feel like I can do quick maths.
It was just nuts that before, like, as soon as the debate ended, everyone went fucking apeshit. I hit Kate up and I was like, what happened? Like, people told me not to talk to you anymore.
Lawsuits and, court dates and all this other stuff that, these are food fights. I said the same thing about, the issue with Chille DeCastro. These are internet food fights. They need to remain on the internet. I don't want to burden the taxpayers or bog down the court systems with this nonsense. I don't think it's not helping anybody. I don't trust the government enough to have them, intercede in personal problems that I have in my life and play mediator. I don't feel like that's fair to the system. I feel like it's not the proper use of the system, and I don't trust the system enough to think that it's going to do a good job with that. Here's what I know is going on. I'm not an idiot, okay? So, Chille DeCastro has made it abundantly clear that his, one of his few life's missions, because he keeps it pretty limited right now, is to absolutely financially, emotionally, psychologically just destroy me and beat me down until there's nothing left. He said that numerous times, right? And the main way that he's doing that right now is just, causing me to blow through tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. At this point, I believe spent out is somewhere around 52,000. Okay. And I have nothing negative to say about who I've retained or anything else like that. It's just, unfortunately, federal court is expensive. This lawyer is expensive. It's just been expensive. So moving forward, I am not going to be proceeding past when I burn up the retainer that I have now, which we are just about there, a few $1,000s more to go. I am not proceeding with an attorney any longer. If Chille wants to drain me of financial resources, and that is his goal, right now he's been handed a win. I'm taking that win back. Okay. We tried it. We raised money. We crowdfunded. We went at this with a lawyer, but at some point, you can't pay a professional enough to continue to just catch the shit that this fucking retard is smearing on the wall. So I'm taking that win back from him. I'm handing him an L, and good luck draining me of money when I'm not paying shit anymore. We're going to level the playing field. Okay.
It's fine if it happens to someone you don't like. It was acceptable when it was done to Blue Bacon, Kate. Where's your goalpost, lady? Is it movable? Mutable? Does it get placed wherever it suits your purpose? Imagine if Chille tagged Blue Bacon's, the poster boy for victimization, you said, location. Chille thoroughly doxed Blue Bacon, put a picture of his house online, and pretty much brought his fairly successful channel to a grinding halt. In large part because of people like you. He said he gave Blue's address to a guy who was coming to do Blue harm. It started a feeding frenzy that saw almost everyone, including you, turning on Blue Bacon. And the most vocal critics were his allies. Talk about tribalism? I'm not even a huge fan of Blue Bacon's, but the way he was treated by the watchdog community was disgusting. And you played a big role in that, Kate. Blue didn't respond to his doxing properly. He didn't take the good advice he was given by other watchdogs. From Kate saying this? Kate, who prides herself and brags about not doing what everyone advises her to do? And here she is with another frauditor, Long Island Audits, who clashes with the police under the auspices of being an auditor. He instigates reactions from the police, and then he sues them, and he sometimes wins settlement money. That's our tax money. It's his career. And this is the kind of guy Kate has built her fan base on fighting against. Does Kate think it's a great idea to showcase here with him on her live stream? Because he's got a, Mark is suing him. So it's okay to bring him on the live stream. Her sub sure didn't think it was a great idea. Does she think they will buy into her attempting to build further justification for how badly she treated Mark during the debacle of a debate? It appears to me, in my opinion, to be a bankrupt attempt on Kate's part to highlight information to try to turn her subs against Mark as a distraction. And it's manipulative. And it's insulting to her subs. And that's not coming from me, by the way. It's coming from many, many of her subs. Her best bet right now is to apologize to Mark and to her subs for treating them like they're stupid and get back to rebuilding her own channel. Her content is suffering for reals. The tribe she created to go against the bad guys are lodging their heels in the sand. They are not going to be led around by their nose into every battle Kate points her finger at anymore. And you know why? Because they're learning that they can't trust her motivation and they can't trust her intention. She turns to them for super chats, for memberships without perks, and to crowdfund her legal troubles, but she patently refuses to hear them when they speak. And if that's the way it's going to be, it's best to step aside for a while and let others be masshole. The last live stream they did was the most entertaining in a really long time. I don't even know who those people were up there, but it was a really enjoyable time. And I'm not the only one who thought so. And none of your typical masshole people were there. And it was fresh and it was new and it was entertaining. So there's some food for thought. So I'm going to end this here. It's getting way too long, and there's so much more material that I have, because I've been catching up on our favorite YouTube content creators. So we'll end it here. I'll start with everything else I have for part 2. So we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.